Namaste. On behalf of Project Self, United Consciousness, I, Dr. Vikrant Singh Tomar, welcome all of you in this global celebration of United Consciousness International Week of Peace. UNESCO in its constitution writes that war begins in the mind of the man. And that's why even the constructs and defenses of peace also needs to be built in the mind of the man. Peace is our birthright. Three kinds of peace. My peace with myself. Peace within me. Second, peace with the people around me. And third, peace on the planet, in the world in general. But due to limited identities, it appears that peace on the planet is under great threat. Limited identities of fundamentalism of religion, intolerant thoughts, wealth divide, caste divide, divide on the basis of region, fanatic nationalism, status, color of skin, racism, casteism, divide on the basis of species. Human beings consider themselves owner of all the species. Divide on the basis of gender, sex orientation, habitat even. Human beings consider themselves owner of the whole planet and leads to global warming. When this divide, because of these divides, peace which should naturally flow has to be established by forces of peacekeeping. And that's why 25 years ago in United Nations General Assembly, we all as a planet adopted a resolution for culture of peace. And today, we are also celebrating 76th year of Declaration of Human Rights for the people on the planet, where dignity, equality, and justice is upheld. But it seems that we didn't improve our progress enough in that. We are seriously off track on Agenda 2030 we set for ourselves. 1 in 8 people globally is still suffering from mental disorder. Suicide is being the second leading cause of death among youth today. But still, global defense budget is twice of the global health budget. International disarmament expenditure is only 0.039% of the annual military expenditure in 2013. So United Nations alone can't do it. And that is why United Consciousness celebrates this United Nations International Day of Peace, which is a sincere attempt to raise the consciousness of the planet. Which could not be achieved by the stroke of pen or by the forces or by the resolutions can be achieved by the resolution of mankind, by rising consciousness of all. It is rising consciousness that before taking any action, I will ask 3 questions from myself. Question number 1, whether this action will lead to uphold and sustain peace within me. Second, whether this action which I am taking will improve or sustain my peace with the people around. And third, whether the action I am taking will uphold or sustain the peace on the planet. Because peace is not only absence of conflict. At individual level, peace is the presence of the feeling of joy, serenity, dignity, hope, freedom in me. With other people, peace stands for joyful interpersonal relationships based on love and equality, where I can see me in you, you in me, and us in all. Peace on the planet is also celebrating oneness and this diversity beyond limited divides. So every action which we take should end with disseminating more peace on the planet. In Sanskrit, peace is called Shanti. So peace within myself, peace with others, and peace in the world also. United Consciousness International Week of Peace celebration is one of the world's biggest celebration of United Nations International Day of Peace. The celebration begins on 14th of September, and this celebration will continue till 22nd of September with a hope that even if this event is over, the celebration of peace and happiness will continue resonating in everybody's life on the planet. In this program, life coaches, spiritual masters, academicians, public representatives, public servants, scientists, artists, bureaucrats, and all statesmen of repute are coming from different parts of the world, from all 6 continents of the world, because we stand together for a peaceful world. Dear friends, let's join hand together in saying, before we do anything and after we do anything, invoking the higher within and saying, Om Shanti, may there be peace within me. Om Shanti, may there be peace around me. Om Shanti, may there be peace on the planet, in the world. On behalf of Project Self, European Yoga Federation, Yoga Australia, Yoga Vidya Spiritual Council in Africa, AYT, and other important sister organizations of United Consciousness, I welcome all of you to join the celebration for the joy of life. Namaste.
Welcome to United Consciousness, where one consciousness, one being, is more than just a belief. It's a movement, a global initiative that unites us all in the pursuit of peace, spiritual wisdom, and universal happiness. It's a global mission that's touching life across continents. If you have ever felt the need for connection, spiritual guidance, or just a sense of belonging, you are in the right place. Welcome to United Consciousness. United Consciousness is not just an organization. It's a living, breathing community dedicated to enhance the holistic well-being of over 3 lakh individuals worldwide. Our mission is simple yet profound. One consciousness, one being. We believe that by connecting with our higher selves and each other, we can live lives filled with purpose, meaning, and fulfillment. Together, we are building a global community that shares this vision, helping each other unlock our full potential. Our logo says it all. The lotus symbolizes enlightenment, peace, and infinite universal consciousness. The petals represent all beings in the universe, interconnected and overlapping, signifying our togetherness. And that white essence in the center, it's the one source from which all beings originated. Every detail carries meaning right down to the 14 petals, which reminds us to transcend our limited identities. And speaking of transcendenting identities, our vision aligns perfectly with the global movement of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The world is one family. With the presence in over 100 countries, our reach is global. We are not just spreading a message, we are creating a cohesive network of individuals and organizations working together to eliminate limited identities and promote peace and happiness across the planet. But what does joining United Consciousness means to you? It means gaining access to tools and resources that will help you build mental resilience, overcome stress, depression, and anxiety, and elevate your spiritual journey. And that's just the beginning. Our live question and answer sessions with the world-renowned speakers provide you with the opportunity to get all your life questions answered, whether you are seeking spiritual upliftment, emotional intelligence, or simply a community that stands and supports you. United Consciousness is here to help you thrive in this complex world. So why wait? Join us on this transformative journey. Let's create a world where peace and happiness are not just a distant ideals, but a tangible reality we can all experience here and now. United consciousness, one being, together we can make the difference. It's my privilege to welcome Ambassador Akhilesh Mishra, a distinguished career diplomat with over 3 decades of exemplary services in the Indian Foreign Service. Arrived in Dublin on 26 October 2021 with a wealth of experiences spanning the entire spectrum of Indian diplomacy. Ambassador Mishra has expertly handled political security and geostrategic affairs, economic, commercial and investment issues, as well as education, culture and engagements, and India's development partnerships worldwide. His impressive credentials and deep commitment to advancing India's interest make him a valuable asset to the diplomatic community in Ireland. Before his current assignment, Ambassador Mishra served as an officer on special duty at the Ministry of External Affairs and headed the Development Partnership Administration, where he oversaw India's official development assistance and international development dialogues. He was also the Director General of the Indian Council for Cultural Relations, contributing significantly to India's cultural diplomacy. Ambassador Mishra has held numerous prestigious positions, including Ambassador of India to Maldives, Consul General of India in Toronto, and Joint Secretary of India's relations with Nepal and Bhutan. His other notable posts includes Deputy Chief of Mission in Kabul and Deputy High Commissioner in Tanzania. A scholar with a passion of Indian culture and spirituality, Ambassador Mishra holds bachelor's and master's degree in technology from IIT BHU, where he was a gold medalist. Fluent in multiple languages including Spanish, Italian and Nepali, he is also a deeply versed in Sanskrit, Hindi and Urdu literature abroad. So ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Ambassador Akhilesh Mishra.
Most welcome, sir. We are so honored that you accepted our request to be the chief guest for this International Week of Peace. And we are highly inspired to see you, sir, and whole stage is yours. Pranam.
Thank you. Namaskar, my very warm greetings to you all from Dublin. Since I belong to Varanasi, the abode of Lord Vishwanath, I'm particularly delighted to connect with Ujjain, the land of Mahakal. At the outset, I must applaud Dr. Vikrant Singh Tomarji for his tireless efforts to promote Indian culture and Indian values worldwide. I'm really impressed by his multifaceted scholarship and dynamic social leadership in connecting people from their diverse backgrounds. Friends, in India, uh, particularly the ancient Vedic darshan, it is held that all forms of suffering, the root of all forms of suffering, are in ajnan, ignorance. Rajjavagyat ahirbhati tajgyanat bhasate nahi. Because of ignorance, we see snake where there is a rope, and we start getting scared and get anxiety and suffering. But as soon as we realize the true nature of the rope, then the snake vanishes, and the fear arising out of snake also vanishes, and the suffering because of that fear disappears. So I think the most significant contribution of Indian ethos, Indian thought process is the vision, the Vedic worldview, uh, the concept of consciousness, concept of knowledge itself. How do we know? How do we become aware of the reality surrounding us? Uh, how do we become conscious of something? And also, more importantly, who becomes conscious? Who knows? Who is the knower? In Bharati Gyan Parampara, friends, the Indian knowledge tradition, I see that the basic approach is quite opposite, almost diametrically opposite to the Western so-called scientific methodology. In the West, the approach is quite egocentric to me. It's very self-centric approach because there is a primacy of human sense impressions. What I see with my own eyes has a higher validity than anybody else's perception. And the sensory observations of qualitative or quantitative attributes of objects, they are based on perceptions of our eyes, our senses. And the perception of eyes, either directly or aided by instruments like telescope or microscope or spectrometer or infrared or radio measuring instruments. So based on those perceptions, our scientists formulate a hypothesis, a mathematical model, a theory, and then judge the validity of their perceptions based on its reproducibility and testability. Whereas Indian rishis, Indian wise men, Indian seers recognized upfront the limitations of our eyes and our senses. Because they knew that even when eyes see, they don't see things as they really are. Yathana toyeto bhinna taranga feina budbuda. A simple example is that in the ocean you see multitudes of waves, foam or froth, and bubbles. To our eyes, they all appear distinct. But if you contemplate on their real nature, then they are all the same. They are all water. And even when there is no error in perception, and the sensory perceptions are like accurate, they see what it is, like they see a rope in a rope, not snake. But even then, our sensory observations, our sensory perceptions have an inherent and fundamental limitation, because by their own nature, senses are extroverted. They cannot see, eyes cannot see themselves, eyes can only see outside. Ears can only listen what lies outside. Similarly, the sense of touch can only feel what is outside. So knowledge that is gained by our senses is inherently flawed, inherently incomplete, and partial. But also, just because eyes don't see, it doesn't mean conclusively that any object does not exist. Beyond the pratyaksh or direct sensory perception or cognition, there are things which exist, and they can also be seen, understood, known through anuman. For example, we can't see fire, but we see there is a smoke. And so, with the knowledge of the smoke, we gain knowledge of the fire that exists. Stars, during the daytime, stars are there, but we cannot see the stars. Similarly, the tortoise has ability of like withdrawing its limbs. So when it has withdrawn its limbs, then the tortoise, we don't see the limbs of tortoise. But it does not mean that they don't exist. So Indian approach has been to not just depend on the senses, but also a deeper consciousness, deeper thinking. They try to see things, know things through their effect. Karyas tatupalabdhe. It becomes known because of its consequence, its impact. And the third most important aspect, an issue bothering our sages was who sees, who knows. And they came to conclusion that it's not eyes that see, and not even mind which sees. Yat chakshusha na pashyati, yena chakshunshi pashyati. Yad vacha anubheditam yena vagabhyudyate. Yan manusa na manute, yena hurmano. So they knew that eyes are not the seers, but eyes derive their power to see from something that is the ultimate seer. The speech does not describe that power, but derives its power from something. Mind cannot describe and contemplate, because mind's power comes from that, the real knower. The Atma is the real seer, the real knower, the real doer, the master. Yo Veda sa Atma, Yoyam Vijnanamaya sa Atma. Thing which knows, thing which is conscious of things is Atma, the soul. Yah drashta, shrota, manta, vigyata, sa Atmeti. One that sees, that listens, that thinks, that knows is the Atma itself. Drashter drashta, shruter shrota, mater manta, vigyater vigyata, sa Atmeti. It is that single entity called soul, is the vision of the eyes, the hearing power of the ear, and the thinking power of the mind, and consciousness of the conscious. Atma cannot be seen itself by extroverted eyes, extroverted senses. Soyam Atma agrihyo, that Atma cannot be grasped by physical means. Na chakshusha grahyate, napi vacha, nanyaih devaih tapasa karmanava. That Atma cannot be grasped by our eyes, nor by our speech, nor by any other actions or rituals. Jnana prasadena vishuddha sattvaha, tatah tu tam pashyate nishkalam dhyayamanaha. The only way to realize, to understand, to grasp the Atma is through blessing of knowledge, with purity of your mind, and nishkalam dhyayamana, with dedicated, devoted, concentrated meditation. So the basic technique that Indian rishis evolved to know is to turn senses inwards, meditate. So yoga and dhyan becomes very, very critical, very central contribution of Indian mind. Kashchit dhirah pratyagat madamaichat avritta chakshusha. It is only someone who is very wise, who has the desire, the unfulfilled, thirst to know and know the reality. Pratyagatman aichat avritta chakshushu. So to see that ultimate knower, the ultimate reality, he turns eyes inwards and sees with closed eyes. Avritta chakshusha. When we see with closed eyes, avritta chakshusha, an entirely new universe, altogether different from the worldly consciousness, a different state of knowledge, different state of consciousness emerges. And this marks probably the most significant landmark inflection in human thought. The inward vision has very profound implications. First of all, it unifies the external and the internal universe. We become conscious of a continuum within and without. Yavan vai ayam akashah, tavan esh hridaye akashah. That big vast sky that exists outside is also within me, in my heart. Tasmin antah ev ubhe dyava prithvi. In my heart, my within, also exists that earth and also the outer sky. Second aspect is the external diversities, divergences are replaced by convergence to a single point. The same center, if you visualize on a circle on which you are all diverging, looking inwards, then all different lines of thought, lines of action, approach, they converge to a single point. In Vedic texts, there are very beautiful symbols of hub and spoke, chariot wheel, rath nabha vivara, and also in our emblem Ashoka Chakra. So these see the wheel and realize how the significance of convergence rather than divergence is emphasized. Then you realize that there is only one single ultimate destination of all. Numerous, in fact, infinite paths. All of them are equally valid. Even those which appear diametrically opposite are reaching the same point. All become one. They lose their individuality. They merge in one single point. Third, that the central point, the focal point of the Sanatan Bharatiya Darshan Chintan is that point called Brahma or Atma at an individual level. Eko Devah Sarva Bhuteshu Gudha. Ekameva Advitiyam. Brahma represents oneness of all knowledge, pure state of consciousness, unchanging reality, unchanging state of bliss. Sat Chit Anand Swarup. Sat Chit Anand is he is Sat Chit Anand. It's not his virtue or quality. Like today I am happy, tomorrow I am not happy. In a moment I am not conscious, next moment I am not conscious. So that is not the feature of Brahma. Brahma is always full of bliss. It exists all times, and also it is conscious of everything. Pure consciousness is Brahman itself. And that is why the ultimate quest for Indian mind has been Atmagyan. The ultimate knowledge, the ultimate quest is one single objective. The only object to be seen, to be known, to be thought and contemplated upon. Because once you know that, then you know all. One who knows all knows that single thing. Yah ekam janati sa sarvam janati. One who knows that one knows everything. Yah sarvam janati sa ekam janati. One who knows everything ultimately knows that one single thing. And if you have consciousness of that ultimate reality, then it has a very profound impact on how we realize, how we see, how we relate to the outer world, the rest of the outs, which is not us. Yatra nanyat pashyati, nanyat shrunoti, nanyat janati, sa bhumat. You become, instead of petty, insignificant, transient, you become immortal, you become infinite, called bhuma, virat. And that state is described by yatra nanyat pashyati. You don't see otherness. Nanyat shrunoti, you don't hear other. Nanyat pashyati, nanyat janat, you don't know other. And yo vai bhuma tadamritam mat yad alpam tan martyam. And that viratness, that infinitude is immortality. Whatever is small, whatever is petty, whatever is parochial is death. Bhumaiva sukham, nalpe sukhamasti. It's the viratness, bhuma, which is sukha, happiness. Nalpe sukhamasti. If you have a small, parochial, petty attitude, there is no question that you will suffer. That state of no otherness, self becomes all-inclusive, infinite, immortal. Like a tiny drop of water is transient, it vanishes very soon. But when it merges into the ocean, it becomes kind of immortal. And the dissolving the egoistic notion of I, me, mine, you, and your gives way to understanding of not just belief but knowledge, the consciousness of one single web of existence, interconnected, interdependent. Vishwam bhavatyeka nigam. The entire natural existence becomes one single abode, or in Vedic Sanskrit, nidam also means body. So the entire natural existence becomes one single body, one single entity. And therefore, there is concern not just for one planet. The international community has woken up to dangers of our planet. So they talk about Prithvi and one Earth and the dangers being posed by climate change or human activities because to this planet Earth. But Indian mind was not limited to concern for this one single planet, but for the entire natural existence. And they prayed for, they worked for peace and harmony and stability in the entire existence. Om Dyohu Shantihi. In the sky, in the upper skies, there be peace. Antariksham Shantihi. The atmosphere be full of peace. Prithvi Shantihi. Apaha Shanti. Earth, there be peace. Apaha Shanti. In the water, let there be peace. Shantihi Oshadayaha. Shantihi Vanaspatayaha. So the entire existence is one, and therefore there cannot be peace and harmony if any part is in disharmony. And that is why, friends, as a thinking creature, the mankind has obligations towards all sustainability of the entire cosmic ecosystem. And talking and because Prithvi, this earth, this world does not belong to human being alone. All other creatures, even inanimate objects, have a stake in our future. and this broader ecosystem. Friends, coming to the issue of human rights, that broad approach, as Dr. Tomarji mentioned, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that vision of our interconnectedness, what our Prime Minister Modi describes as Vishwa Bandhu, as vision of India's global connection. So that interdependence, interconnectedness is the root, the foundation of our concept of human rights. And I may mention that when the UN Declaration of Human Rights was negotiated in 1948, it was an Indian lady which put her foot down and bargained very hard for a neutral, sensitive formulation. Otherwise, like US and France, all other Western countries before that has only spoken about rights of man. So UN might have ended with a UN Declaration of Rights of Man rather than UN Declaration of Human Rights. So changing that terminology from rights of man to human rights is owed to a very prominent Indian thinker and freedom fighter, Hansa Mehta. So I recognize her contribution. Also, friends, we inherently believe that rights don't exist in vacuum. They emanate from a corresponding set of duties. In fact, in Sanskrit, adhikar means rights and kartavya means duty. Both have same root word. Kri means to do. So the obsession with individual rights, maximalist without caring for rights of all the rest, and working for maximalist uncompromising approach to my rights, and without concern even for my duties towards others, is playing havoc, is causing so much of strife in the world, tension and disharmony, because we have lost sight of the broader picture of interconnectedness between rights and duties. So friends, it all begins with individual's mind, individual's thought. That triggers action. That awareness triggers action. And that every single individual as a stakeholder in this cosmic existence has a role to play. And we all collectively and individually can make a difference. Once again, my very sincere thanks to Dr. Tomaji for inviting me and allowing me opportunity to share my thoughts. Thank you so much.
So kind of you, sir. I feel short of words. I think in your speech you summarized whole philosophy of this whole week along of International Week of Peace. So nicely you started with where everybody can connect with human suffering, and you said that it is the jnana that is the cause of it, and you mentioned the example of rope and snake, and we need to rise the consciousness from ecocentric or sense-centric approach. And then you mentioned about how saints and seers went beyond what is pratyaksha because entries are outward, and they also mentioned about anumana and inference. You also mentioned the fundamental deep question of hard question of consciousness. Who is the seer? Who knows? You in and out quoted Upanishads, Kathopanishad, Kenopanishad, Isha Upanishad, Vedas, and Dragdrashya Viveka. We are so inspired to see. And then you mentioned that Atma is the knower, the eye of the eye, and it cannot be seen. The word that you mentioned is so profound. Avrati Chakshu. So withdraw our senses and see it differently. And when you see it differently, you mentioned from unified vision, from divergence to convergence to that single point. And you said then we realize Ekamev Aditya. And once you know it, Ekam Janati, Sarva Janati, you connected it back where you started, Ajnana, and then you connected it back, and then you say that once you see it, and you again quoted Nanyanti Pashyanti, somebody who sees differences, doesn't see it clearly, but the moment you see oneness, you see Amritam, and then you invoke the Shanti and you connected it back to the complete bigger picture of this whole consciousness movement and peace. And you mentioned that Shanti is in oneness, and that's why we have obligation to others also. And that's why you invoke the human responsibilities. And it is for the first time I'm hearing that human kartavya and adhikar have come out of the same root. So inspired that. And with you, we also bow down to Hansa Mehtaji, and we acknowledge her presence during those fundamental declarations of human rights. Sir, I think one of the wisest decisions United Consciousness made is to request you to come and bless us with your presence. So kind of you, sir. Thank you very much for inspiring. Thank you very much for Shilpi ji also to make all the regards. Thank you.
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Ambassador Akhilesh Mishra for coming on to the platform of United Consciousness and sharing his views. Thank you so much. I'm highly honored in welcoming and introducing our next esteemed guest, Sadhvi Bhagawati Saraswati ji. She is a renowned motivational speaker and best-selling author, providing spiritual services, wisdom teaching, sacred actions, and deep spiritual practices. Presently living at Paramatniketan in Rishikesh, India, but originally from Los Angeles and a graduate from Stanford University. She is a Secretary General of the Global Interfaith Wash Alliance, President of Divine Shakti Foundation, and Director of the famous International Yoga Festival. She has spoken at several United Nations events, including with the Secretary General and Deputy Secretary General of the UN. She has been featured at many renowned news networks such as CNN, New York Times, Discovery Channel, BBC, etc. Sadhvi ji has received numerous national and international awards. She serves on United Nations Faith Advisory Council on Religion, the Steering Committee for Partnership for Religion and Sustainable Development, and the Steering Committee for the World Bank United Nations. Sadhvi ji is the author of the books By God's Grace, a biography of her Guru, His Holiness Pujya Swami Chidanand Saraswati ji, and Come Home to Yourself. She gives daily spiritual discourses, teaches meditation, provides spiritual counseling and mentoring, and oversees myriad charitable and humanitarian projects and activities at Paramatniketan. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Sadhvi Bhagawati Saraswati ji.
Most welcome, Sadhvi ji. So happy to see Jai Gange. And whole stage is yours. Sadhvi ji will be addressing us on climate action and spiritual responsibility, healing the earth through love. All stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Vikrantji, and it's so beautiful to be with you and with the entire United Consciousness family and community. And it was so beautiful to listen to Honorable Sri Akhilesh Mishra ji speak. If I didn't know that he was a diplomat serving the government of India, I would have thought he was a scholar of philosophy, giving a beautiful, beautiful talk on Sanskriti, on culture, on Dharma, on our spiritual philosophy and tradition. It's very rare and very beautiful to have these ambassadors, not just ambassadors of the soil of India, but actually ambassadors of the culture of India. So it was a beautiful choice to have him here. And I want to begin actually with a point that he touched on, which is that we focus so much on our human rights, but we tend to forget about our responsibilities. And our rights are critical, of course. We've spent, in the West at least, in America where I come from, hundreds of years fighting for rights, whether it was the rights of people who were of Black color to not be slaves, to actually have rights as human beings, whether it was the rights of women to vote, the rights of women to have a job, the rights of women to have a bank account. I mean, these are very recent rights that have been given to people, and they're critical. And when we speak about human rights now, especially in the Sustainable Development Goals framework, we speak about the critical importance of all people having the right, the inherent inviolable right to safety, to security, to autonomy, to clean air, to clean water, to clean soil, to at least primary health care, to education, to vote the way they want, to worship the way they want, to love the way they want. And this increasing and expanding awareness of the rights of all individuals is critical. It's beautiful to see. It's beautiful to watch different governments and courts and civil society bodies ensure that people have these different rights. And yet, I agree fully with Sri Mishra ji on this, that in the drive to get our rights, we're forgetting about our responsibilities. We tend to think of responsibilities much more in a really small way, in terms of a responsibility as a wife or a husband or a mother or a father, or to our job. Like, I've got to get this piece of work done because I promised my boss. But these are really minute and very superficial levels of responsibility. As humans here on earth, as conscious beings here on earth, as beings whose life depends upon that which we've been given, the air we breathe, the water we drink, the food that Mother Earth gives us, the safety and the security to live our lives, to worship how we want, to love how we want, to work how we want, to live how we want, to dress how we want, to do all of the things. Well, there are the responsibilities that we have to give back, not just to our nuclear family, not just to the person who gives us a paycheck at the end of the month, but actually to the planet and to all of our sisters and brothers with whom we share this planet. And that aspect of responsibility is a critical part of spiritual traditions. You know, in the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Krishna gives one of my most favorite mantras for life, which is Mamnu Smard Yudhyacha. Not that much time to go into all of the beautiful spiritual aspects of this, but in short, it just means remember me and fight the war. Means stay spiritually anchored, grounded, connected, remember the divine, and stand up and do your duty. That they're not separate. Too many people think that spirituality means I just sit here on a cushion and I close my eyes and I meditate, or I do my japa, or I sing my kirtan, I do my prayers. But spirituality is actually that which informs every minute of our life. Yes, the moments we spend sitting on the cushion, the moments we spend in prayer, in puja, but also the moments when we stand up from the cushion. The moments from when we wake up in the morning to when we go to sleep at night. Our scriptures tell us this. It's not that we have to go out of spirituality to understand how to live the moments of our life that are not rites and rituals and puja and meditation and sadhana. Our scriptures tell us, Vasudev Kutumbakam, the world is a family. It was the beautiful motto that our Honorable Prime Minister gave to the G20 presidency here last year. The world is a family. Every human, but not just humans, every species is part of our is part of our world family, not just human. And what that means is that the same responsibility we feel to our blood family, to our children, to our parents, to our spouses, is a responsibility that we have to all beings. When we pray, Sarve bhavantu sukhina, Sarve santu niramaya, Sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhaved. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. Not just may my family, not just may humans even, all beings. And what that means is that the way that we live has to be one that takes care of them. It's not just, hey, God, you take care of them and I'm going to keep living this really selfish lifestyle. No. And again, this is teachings of our scriptures. Our responsibilities are given by our spirituality. In the Katha Upanishad, Yamraj gives the path, the beautiful path of life to Nachiketa. What is he taught? You have two options, a path of Shreya, a path of Praya. Again, there isn't time to go into all of the details and the beauty of that. But basically, are you going to live a life of decadence, of hedonism, a life that's focused on eat, drink, and be merry? If so, you have the free will to do that, but you will suffer. You will suffer in this life, and you will suffer in your past lives and in your future lives. It's the suffering from the past life that gives you that ignorance in this life, that blindness, that illusion, that attachment in this life to choose the path of prayer. And choosing that path causes the suffering in this life and the suffering in your future lives. And he says, no, don't choose that path. Choose this path of Shreya, a path of purity, a path of connection to God, a path of consciousness, a path of meditation in action, prayer in action, spirituality in action, a path of compassion, a path of love. And the title of the topic you've given me, it's how do we use love? Well, this is how we use love, through anchoring ourselves in love. Love for the Creator, therefore love for the creation. Love for the truth of who we are, which is not separate from either the Creator or the creation. This is that when we speak about united consciousness, it's that awareness that we are one. You know, self-love doesn't just mean I take a bubble bath with rose petals and lavender oil. It means I love my capital S self, the very truth of who I am, which means I love the expression, the manifestation of myself in all. Whether it's the flowers, whether it's the trees, whether it's the other human beings, I love that capital S, full highest expression. And in that love, I serve. I see myself, my capital S self, in all. That's what self-love is. So our spiritual practices are those that make us live consciously, live compassionately. You know, when we speak about climate change specifically, climate change is caused in large part by our unconscious, unconnected, uncompassionate choices and decisions. Climate change is caused because those of us who have the luxury to choose are choosing to eat, shop, dress, travel, and live in a way that is absolutely non-sustainable. The statistics are all there. The UN gives all of the statistics. World Bank gives statistics. All of these big international multilateral bodies, not aligned with one side or the other, they give us the statistics. Animal agriculture, the meat industry, the fashion industry. These are some of the greatest causes of our pollution, of climate change. The meat industry itself has been said to be the single greatest contributor to climate change. It is definitely the greatest contributor to the deforestation of our forests, from which we get the oxygen that absorb the carbon dioxide, that store and give the planet's water. But we're cutting them down. For what? Not to build houses, not even to extract oil, to graze cows, to become beef. Simple choices of becoming vegetarian, of choosing sustainable fashion. The fashion industry is one of the greatest polluters of the planet's water, spewing toxins into our water supply. I'm not saying don't shop, but I'm saying live consciously. We don't have an untreatable global food shortage, or untreatable global water shortage, or untreatable global land shortage. We speak about food shortages, land shortages, water shortages. Those are all fixable. The core shortage we have is a global consciousness shortage. And our spiritual traditions are those that impel us to expand our consciousness, to live from a higher consciousness, to make choices that are in alignment with Shreya, not Preya, with goodness, purity, compassion, that's good for our self-realization, God realization, Atma Darshan, moksha, whatever word we use, and that are also in alignment with that which is good for Mother Earth and for all of our sisters and brothers with whom we share it. So through our spiritual teachings that remind us how to free ourselves from rag, from dvesh, from this grabbing, aversion, I like this, I don't like this, I want this. Our spiritual traditions teach us how to free ourselves from hoarding, from stealing. The yam and niyam of Ashtanga Yoga that the sage Patanjali gives us, what does he focus on? Right in the beginning. Yam, first aspect of first limb of Ashtanga Yoga. What are we told? Don't steal. Don't hoard. Don't be violent. If we simply follow the most basic spiritual precepts, the most basic yogic precepts, if on any level we consider ourselves spiritual beings, yogic beings, and we live in consciousness of that, we'll make the choices that protect and preserve Mother Nature, that protect and preserve this beautiful planet, not just for today, but for tomorrow. Because the other thing spirituality teaches us is to take care of the future, to take care of children, grandchildren, all future generations. As we live consciously, we live compassionately. And that consciousness and that compassion is rooted in our spiritual connection. And lastly, love. As we practice bhakti yoga, devotion to the divine, whatever our religious tradition may be, whether we are chanting and singing, doing puja, whatever way we are loving God, that bhakti is only real and only full if when we stand up from our puja, from our kirtan, from our prayers, we take that love of God and we live based on that. If we're just singing in theoretical bhakti and then harming the divine here on earth, it's not real bhakti. So as you sing, as you pray, as you chant, as you do puja, as you love God by any name, any form, any tradition, remember that every aspect of the creation is pervaded by, infused with that presence of the divine. I have so much more to say, but my 15 minutes are over, so I will end here with just deep, deep gratitude to our United Consciousness family for continuing to remind us that we are one, and that consciousness and spirituality is not just that which we do sitting on a mat or sitting on a cushion or in a mandir or a church or a synagogue or a mosque or a gurdwara. But it's actually how we live, how we speak, how we act every minute and every moment of our day, and how to remember the unity of consciousness through our own individual expanding and higher consciousness. So thank you to Vikrantji and your entire team, and such a joy to be with you today.
Same here, respected Sadhvi ji. It was so well defined, designed, and inspiring talk. This is what we all wanted to listen from our honorable guest. You mentioned about importance of human rights in West and how human responsibilities are invoked in our scriptures. You talked about as SDGs. You talked about that we all need to remember the divine within all of us, and that you also said that we all are a family like Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. For that, to invoking it, we need to follow the path of Shreyas. And you mentioned about one of the means can be meditation in action and keeping love as an anchor towards the creator and certainly for the creation. And you mentioned self as a capital S for all beings. But when we reduce the definition of self and we become unconnected, unconscious, unconcerned about our choices, then it leads to non-sustainable actions. So we need to live consciously and this is the path of Atma Darshana beyond 6 ripus. And one of the strong means to it, as you mentioned, is love, bhakti yoga, because the divine pervades and infused in everything, every being. So kind of you for your inspiring words, Sadhvi ji. Jai Ganga.
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Sadhvi Bhagawati Saraswati ji for coming on to the platform of United Consciousness and sharing her views. Thank you so much. I'm feeling highly privileged to invite our next speaker, who is an inspiration for many people and elevating their lives. He is Satguru Amrita Suryananda Maharaj from Portugal. Guruji has started his studies and practices of the yoga philosophy in 1970 in the Shivananda Ashram of Rishikesh Divine Life Society, where he received Parampara from Shri Swami Krishnananda Ji Maharaj. He is a fervent and unconditional disciple of his inner spiritual master, whom he constantly serves and dedicates all his work to Adi Guru Lord Shiva. Guruji has been awarded Padma Shri Award in 2015. He is the president of European Yoga Confederation, the Iberian Yoga Confederation, founder of the Portuguese Yoga Confederation and the Yoga Sankhya Institute. He is also a member of Indian Yoga Association. Guruji is the creator of the concept of the International Day of Yoga on 21st June, celebrated for the first time in the world in 2002 in Portuguese city called Sept. In December 2011, he organized the Bangalore Summit in collaboration with Shri Shri Ravi Shankar, the Art of Living Foundation, which was attended by the Guru of India, Shri B.K. Iyengarji. Guruji has attended the General Assembly of the United Nations in 2014, where, by the proposal of India, the International Day of Yoga was declared official. He authored 2 books, Chakra Sutra, the 7 main chakras in yoga, in Portuguese and English language, and Sankhya, Cosmogenesis in Yoga Beyond Hydrogen. So please welcome Satguru Amrita Suryananda Maharaj.
Because it was completely impossible for our Satguruji to be in a place with internet connection, he requested me, he delegated in me his talk. So I will be reading it on behalf of my Satguruji. On behalf of my Satguruji, we salute Dr. Vikrant's magnificent, urgent, and courageous work for peace, yoga, and harmony. If everyone practiced yoga, we would have the absolute conviction that each one has a spark of Purusha in them, and therefore we are all children of the Father. And consequently, we are all a spiritual brotherhood. Practicing yoga together, as it is done, for example, in the International Day of Yoga, is a way to deepen that certainty and conviction. And if that day becomes even more powerful, for instance, if it becomes a worldwide holiday on June 21st, where everyone may in fact practice yoga without any boundaries or limitations, these certainties will be even more strengthened. And that will lead us not only to respect life in others, but also to understand that some of the principles of yoga are inescapable, such as life is sacred in ahimsa. Likewise, the conscious brotherhood that is forming will lead us to more easily accept the not so obvious for some principle of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We are all one huge family. There is too much evidence, both in yoga and Hinduism, that we are all a spiritual brotherhood. How could it be otherwise? Global solidarity comes from there. We have to be respectful towards each other, as Gandhiji taught us. We must be solidary. We must respect the mother planet. We have to leave to the next generation a better planet than the one we found, a healthy and unpolluted planet, a paradise planet. And then we will all live and stand together in love, as it ought to be. Love is the force of creation, is the so-called most powerful energy of the universe, which led to us being created by the unfathomable and unimaginable Mahashakti, who uses that principle in everything in the vast cosmos. And that is why we can only survive if we put in practice these 3 principles: spiritual brotherhood, global solidarity, living and standing all together in love. Here, so wisely highlighted by Mahatma Tomar. We can make ourselves collapse if we don't respect them. And if we ignore them, we can even make the beautiful and great cosmic raft that is Gaia, our dear planet, collapse. as I believe that 99.99% of humanity wants peace, wants respect for the citizens and true democracy, and wants global health and a future for the next generation, then we must unite and respect Dharma, the laws of the Mahashakti, the Great Lady, because they are mandatory for all of us. They are anti-selfish, they are universal. If we want to be grand, we must join the grandiose and see ourselves as the earth people. And if we want a future, we must join the creation. We must inflexibly become building forces and oppose the destroyers, those who see nothing more than the next few seconds of their existence, full of petty and evil ego, respecting nothing. We must become cosmic. We must have the conviction that we are a spiritual brotherhood. We must put in practice global solidarity and live and stand together in love, that beautiful force that many want to outlaw, that energy that is so little applied today, but which is our only path and our own salvation. And as once again India points us, we will only be viable if we understand the essence of one earth, one family, one future. Om Shanti, Om Namah Shivaya.
Namaste, Sadhvi ji. It is so nice to see you, but at the same time, we really wanted to. It is a surprise to us that Sadhguru ji somehow is not available for the speech right now.
It was just a last minute inconvenience, so he was not able to have the internet connection to be here himself. So he conveyed his message to me and requested me to read it for all of you. And he's very, very sorry he couldn't be here. He really wanted to make it. It's very important to for Sadhguruji to participate in all of your events, and as Dr. Tomar knows, Sadhguruji is very, very deeply fond of you and is very it has a deep connection with you. So it was really due to a complete impossibility that he's not here today.
No worries. Thank you for letting us know this. Please convey our deep gratitude and regard to Honorable Sadhguruji. Please also tell him that we, United Consciousness, stand with him in the pursuit of having 21st of June as an international holiday so that people can follow yoga better. And please also convey that United Consciousness stand with him, behind him on those three principles that he mentioned in his speech. Yes, certainly 99.99% of the humanity wants peace. And for that, let's follow the laws of Mahashakti. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Certainly prevail in peace. So kind of you. Please convey my regards. Thank you for your presence also.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very thankful to Sadhguru Amita Suryananda Maharaji for sharing his views and giving us time to come onto the platform of United Consciousness. Thank you so much, Guru.
Connect, bringing together European yoga teachers and establishing delegates and representatives for each country, considering the social differences in various countries and support the needs, equality regardless of gender, origin, sexual orientation, social class and religion, overcoming dogmatism, fundamentalism to promote universal understanding.
Bye.
Promote, encouraging a yogic lifestyle and a holistic approach to life as a tool for physical and mental wellness, a more spiritually elevated, peaceful, happy, and physically fit society.
Integrate and unify. Integrating science and the art of yogic living, modern knowledges with ancient wisdoms for betterment of the world and global development. Recognizing, accepting, and integrating the many different paths that lead to the same final goal, making sure that yoga will maintain its original purpose. Namaste.
Provide study of secular knowledge, philosophy, and ancient text, Bhagavad Gita, Yoga Sutra, and Veda. Study of techniques, modern developments in teaching techniques, incorporating scientific findings in medicine, psychology, etc. to guarantee a certain standard, an established graduation system to provide a minimum standard for yoga teachers training.
Inner peace serves as a vital link to community solidarity during disaster. When individuals cultivate tranquility within, they contribute to a collective atmosphere of support and empathy. This inner calm spreads outward, strengthening bonds and fostering a united response to adversities, ultimately guiding communities through crisis with resilience and compassion. So the topic of panel discussion today is the connection between the inner peace and community solidarity during disaster. Our next guest is from Ukraine, Mr. Andrei Mishchenko. He practices yoga, Lam, Raj Yoga, and integrated his experience gained in yoga practices into everyday life. His understanding, worldview, and interaction with the world and with himself in this world has changed a lot. He has developed a better understanding about himself as a person, his physiology, and his interaction with the world. In the panel, we have with us the one who believes that learning and sharing is the best way for continuous improvement and is always ready to share the deep knowledge and understanding of Raj Yoga meditation. Her philosophy is to enjoy every moment of her life as it comes and to remain constantly happy. She is Brahmakumari Gayatriji. She began her spiritual journey at early age and is in service with the Brahmakumaris World Spiritual University. Getting trained with remarkable yogis, she herself became extraordinary in meditation and teaching and has developed a clarity and purity of mind. She is the director of Raja Yoga Center for Self-Development, Muscat, Oman. She coordinates and conducts workshop, lectures, and meditation programs to promote universal values, inner peace, health, and women empowerment. She is a computer science graduate with MBA in marketing and human resources. I'm honored to welcome our next guest from Netherlands, Ms. Sharda Nandram. She is Professor of Business and Spirituality at Nerode Business University and the Faculty of Religion and Theology at the Vrije University, Amsterdam, working on Hindu spirituality in society. She's a co-founder and consultant at Pran Group and member of the steering committee of the European Spirituality in Economics and Society and representative at large research in the executive committee of the management, Spirituality and Religion Division of Academy of Management, and she serves as adjunct professor at Banastali University in Jaipur, India. With 35 years of experience in the field of management, especially in work and organizational psychology, entrepreneurship and organizational innovation, and spirituality, she has developed a keen interest in the intersection of management, spirituality, entrepreneurship, and organizational innovation. She has published several papers in prominent academic and professional journals. She holds bachelor's and master's in the discipline of psychology and economics and received a PhD with the Department of Social Psychology. She has studied different spiritual traditions and embodied several spiritual practices by learning them in the authentic ways. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Dr. Sharda S. Nandaram. It's my pleasure to invite and welcome Mr. Yuftahe Manazawal. He is an internationally certified well-being trainer, yoga teacher, meditation instructor, and pranic healer. Renowned for his unique approach as a self-engineer, as the chief creator visionary at Kul World and Kul Wellbeing Center, he has pioneered the concept of self-engineering, focusing on optimizing the human mechanism to foster a happier, healthier world. His innovative work integrates yoga, meditation, and holistic healing to enhance individual and collective well-being. His impactful training extends to both local and international organizations, where he empowers teams to achieve peak performance through core energy management. Frequently featured in national and international media, his insights on global well-being and personal transformation resonate widely. His dedication to create healthier, more productive environment reflects his deep commitment to nurturing human potential and inspiring positive changes. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Mr. Yuftahe Manazawal. Today's panel discussion will be moderated by Dr. Vikrant Singh Tobar, convener, United Consciousness. Dr. Tomer is an acknowledged trainer, academician, scholar, writer, and a management consultant. He's a freelance trainer and served the cabinet ministers of state, MLAs, police officers, and tycoons of the business world. His aim and objective is universal brotherhood and happiness through harmonizing the knowledge from the ancient scriptures into our lives. So I welcome all our guests for panel discussion.
Namaste, namaste. I, Dr. Vikrant Singh Tomar, welcome all our respected guests here. Professor Dr. Sharda ji, we welcome you. We acknowledge your presence from Netherlands. We have Mr. Yuftahe. We acknowledge your presence from Ethiopia. Most welcome. We have our dear friend Andre ji from Ukraine. We acknowledge and respect your presence also, Andre ji. And Andre ji, would you like to tell the name of the person who will be translating for you?
It's my wife. Ее зовут Надя.
My name is Nadia.
Nadia?
Nadia.
Perfect. We welcome Nadia ji also. And we welcome our sister BK Gayatri from Oman. Most welcome, sister. And dear audience from different parts of the world, the topic of discussion today is the connection between inner peace and community, solidarity during disasters. World is going through a difficult phase. During this phase, when we are celebrating International Day of Peace, it becomes very obvious for us to discuss about how peace within can contribute in creating peace between two people and solidarity in the community. So how inner peace gets translated into better interpersonal relationships and solidarity in the community. So if I may begin with Professor Sharda ji. Sharda ji, you have been a researcher on ancient scriptures and Sanatana traditions. So probably I would like to ask from you first that how do you see, how can inner wisdom, inner peace rather, get transformed into my better relationship with people around? Peace within, how does it affect peace around? Over to you.
Good, thank you.
So when we talk about peace within, we are talking about actually spirituality. And spirituality, oftentimes people put as something mystical outside, a spirit, something very far away. But it is just the inner peace that we are trying to find. So when we talk about how to cultivate inner peace, we can think of individual levels of connecting through yoga practices, mindfulness, different types of meditation. But actually, that's not enough, because when we look at it from a Hindu spirituality perspective, we say that we have to consider that oneness which is uniting everyone. There is not a second, there is only one. And through that oneness, if we connect to everyone, it means that that inner peace is something of a life goal. Because if our life goal is to find that oneness, then we search for that oneness through all our activities. So the inner peace, you can say, we find through, I call it the ABCD, which is becoming aware of ourselves, that life goal is finding ourselves. Then in that process of finding ourselves, we will find here and there some belongingness. Sometimes maybe we will not feel belongingness, but that belongingness is very important, because the moment you feel belongingness, it means also that you will have inner peace. Through that inner peace, you will be able not to only feel that peace for yourself, but connect to others outside your communities. And then you become committed to help others. So you feel a kind of a duty, a responsibility, not only to try to seek that oneness within yourself, but how to foster peaceful communities. And I would say that's all based on dharma. Dharma is a concept which has not been easily translated by other scholars. It is very difficult sometimes to translate, because it has so many different layers, so many different aspects. You can talk about dharma like law, you can talk about a duty, but that's the main essence. When we talk about the inner peace, we have to go to dharma as a base, a kind of a responsibility which let us feel grounded in our own personal responsibility, as well as thinking of that we are not living in isolation. We are just part of that one community, that one universe. And then dharma becomes not only swadharma, which is your own dharma, to live your own duty, but we are connected to that cosmic order, which we may call Red, or we may even call it that eternal truth, which is Sanatan Dharma. And I think that connection is very important when we talk about cultivating inner peace.
Thank you.
With
Thank you very much.
Community.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shardaji. You mentioned about ABCD, awareness, belongingness, committed, and then dharma. And inner peace is the basis of all this. We'll go to directly Ukraine, where they are facing the problem head on. Whole world is worried about the situation in Ukraine. And who better than you can tell us, Andreji, how inner peace is very much instrumental in the times of disaster?
Спасибо. Хороший вопрос.
It's a good question.
Я его ожидал.
I was expecting for it.
На самом деле, к этим всем ситуациям быть готовым невозможно.
Honestly, we can't be ready for these situations.
Но можно по-разному на них реагировать.
But we can react in different ways for them.
В каждом человеке заложена масса поведенческих программ.
In every person there are a lot of behavior programs.
И вот эти программы работают, включаются в определенных обстоятельствах.
and that programs and these programs are turning on in different situations.
То есть человек сам себя может не знать.
The person could not know himself.
Если человек практикует и глубоко изучает себя, свою систему,
If the person practices and deeply knowing himself,
что позволяет ему понимать, видеть окружающий мир,
it helps him to really see the things around him.
Он по-другому может видеть, воспринимать разность ситуаций. Он это все видит объективно.
He can see the objectivity of the reality, of the things that's going on.
То, что происходит. Самое страшное в войне в Украине.
The most horrifying in the situation at Ukraine.
Это то, что произошло с ее народом.
That happened with its nation, нация, можно сказать? That happened with its nation.
Люди сначала объединились, потом их разъединила нужда.
The people were together at the first, and then the need put them apart. So they are not together now.
И каждый начал преследовать свои какие-то отдельные нужды, ценности.
And every person is chasing their own needs and goals.
Если бы люди могли воспринимать самое элементарное ситуацию объективно.
If people could just simple see the situation objective.
Йога. Азы йоги. Яма, не яма. Самая первая ступень.
It's the first step of the yoga. Яма, не яма.
Они бы намного больше могли сделать. Они бы имели больше пользы, больше дивидендов, чем то, что мы имеем на данный момент.
They just could do more and и что?
Они намного больше имели на данный момент. То есть больше плюсов было бы. Лучше бы жизнь была.
And life could be better if they could see things objective.
Но на данном этапе, к сожалению, нация уничтожит сама себя.
But as the situation as it is, nation will go to destroy itself.
Thank you very much, Andreji. You gave us a first-person experience of how when you see problems differently, then they have less impact on you, and you also made the importance of yamas and niyamas to deal problems differently. Thank you very much for bringing it to the discussion. Now we'll go to our sister from Oman, Gayatri ji. As Andreji mentioned that seeing things differently. Andreji said that you can never be ready for disaster. Disaster may happen anytime. Only thing that you have choice is to have your reaction, which is in your hands. And as a reaction, he said, to see things differently. What does that mean, to see things differently? And how does that help in times of disaster?
So all this disasters and all this is uncertain, unexpected, and also how much ever the preparations we do for that, so even that all will be not under our control. So as I was mentioning about looking at the things differently, so main thing is when we keep ourselves in a stable, peaceful, calm mind in that way, so it really helps us to see, or it helps us to catch what needs to be done in that moment. So that's how we get into some solution which people may not be even think about it, because I'm seeing it differently. and that situation becomes smaller in that sense. Otherwise, we will be stuck in that confusion and the disasters. Oh, this has happened and all these things. So we will be in that way not able to come out with what solutions or what can be done in that moment. And that's why things become bigger. So yes, looking at a different way is like keeping ourselves calm and seeing the overall picture of that, what really helps us in that moment.
Thank you very much. Gayatri ji mentioned very important thing that when things happen, if your mind is calm, you say now what is to be done. But if your mind is not calm, then you start cribbing on the situation, and then you increase the stress all the more. So that's very profound of you, and that's what she says. Seeing things differently help you in that. Yuftaheji, you are from Ethiopia, and the discussion is going on about you can't change the situation, you can't change the disaster happening, but the respond is in your hand. And how do you respond is a choice. Would like to have your remarks on that. Unmute and speak, please. Your voice is not coming. Please unmute. Now? No, your voice is still not coming. May I request admin to give him technical support? If needed, he can join by his phone or something. So, Yuftaheji, you'll receive a call in a minute to give you technical support because your voice is not audible. I hope you can listen me, yes? You can listen me, but we can't listen you. So, you'll receive a call. May I request admin to assure that he gets the technical help so that he can rejoin the discussion. Till then, you can be here, Yuftaheji, and we continue the discussion on. As we continue the discussion on. So, Shardaji, you mentioned about that awareness, belongingness, committed, and dharma, and identifying what is the purpose of life. That helps us to identify the peace within. And then you also used a word called swadharma, and second is my dharma towards the cosmos, the community, and you used rhythm. So what is how identifying my purpose of life can help me to deal with the disaster better?
See, identifying the purpose of life is a lifelong process. But the nice thing about the Hindu spirituality is that we have these 4 Purusharthas, where we say we look into Dharma, Arth, Kama, Moksha. So Dharma is that rightful duty. Artha is that we need to find means for that. So Arth is, you can say, the resources. Kama is then you take part in a community, not in an indulgence way, but in a balanced way. But of course, there is place for it. And moksha is then the ultimate goal that we are looking forward to in our lives. So if we start with dharma as a base, kind of whatever is there is also my duty to connect, not only for my own purpose, but for the welfare of all. So if in your mindset you have the interconnectedness, as the world is all interconnected, then it's like an automatically your duty, not only towards yourself, your families, and your loved ones, but if we are all connected, then finally the welfare for all also matters to us. And cultivating that inner peace means that, as the other speaker said, of course, in disasters, if things happen, we said this cosmic order is there, we have to respect it. So that in those times, we also become aware of
the fact that we are just one tiny piece in the whole universe. And that makes us humble, and that humbleness makes us also serve everything that lives, the whole existence that is there. So with humbleness also we get these attitudes of serving. So finally you can say we can go and sit on a mattress and have our meditation practices, which is wonderful, but it's at an interpersonal level we can do serving. And in times of disasters we see that people reach out to help others. We go to our neighbors, we help where people are in need. So the beautiful thing is that we have this innate tendency also to take care of others. So taking care of others makes us realize that we are not alone, also for those who are in disasters. And if we take care of others, you can take care of others as a kind of a duty which is based on some faith, some religion, but also just by being aware of that I can't ever live in isolation. I'm all interconnected to other beings.
Perfect. So kind of you. Thank you very much. Sharda ji mentioned that when your purpose of life is relatively higher, rather than artha and kama only for self, if it is dharma, doing something for others, then in the times of disaster, one, you can do seva, it will automatically come to you. And second, it will lead to acceptance of the situation, that it is the cosmic order, let me accept it, and then response. And that way it will be more balanced response to the disaster. Andreji, you mentioned about yamas and niyamas they help to see things objectively. Yuftaheji, can you speak now? I think you may like to join from your phone if your sound cord is not active, probably. May I request admin to connect him to Aditi and let Aditi guide him so that he can join us back. Perfect. So we have a tech team for such 11th hour tech issues. So I think technical disaster also happens at times when we are unprepared. No worries. So Andreji, I was asking you this, that you mentioned that when people see things differently, then it helps, and yamas and niyamas supported that. So would like to know how yamas and niyamas can help you to see things differently.
Прежде всего, это яма-нияма, это фундамент йоги.
The first of all, yama-niyama is the base of yoga.
Это вселенские законы, универсальные вселенские законы.
It's universal rules of the universe.
Каждый из этих законов имеет колоссальную глубину, и их можно расценивать как отдельную практику.
Every of this rule has are such deep that every of them can be the different practice.
И каждый из этих законов раскрывает еще намного больше. Например, честность раскрывает то, что человек начинает, честность перед собой, перед окружающим миром. Человек начинает видеть ясно реальность, ясно объективную реальность, то, что есть на самом деле.
Every of the rule helps seeing more that it can be seen at the first sight. For example, the honesty to ourselves, and the honesty for the others, for the world, and for everything around us. It helps seeing things better. It helps seeing the objective reality.
Ахимса. Не насилие.
Ahimsa, not to harm.
Обратная сторона любви.
It's another part of the love.
То есть это не то, что я думаю, что я кого-то люблю.
It's not the thing that I think that I love someone.
Это позволяет мне прожить состояние любви и транслировать его.
It helps me to live love and to translate it outside.
Как можно что-то транслировать, что-то чему-то учить, что ты не прожил?
How you can translate something or teach it if you haven't lived it by yourself.
Если человек пытается транслировать или думает, что он часть космоса, думать можно об этом.
If the person thinks that he's a part of the universe, it can be.
Но можно это пережить.
But you can also live it, feel it.
И это разный опыт.
And it is the different experience.
Который находится, опять же, в двух сферах. Йога.
And this experience lies in in two different parts. Yoga.
Ум, функциональный ум.
The functional mind.
То, что мы думаем.
That what we are thinking.
Или чувственно-интуитивная связь.
Or the intuitive, sensitive, intuitive connection.
Наше сердце.
Our heart.
То, что мы чувствуем. То, что мы проживаем.
Is that what we feel, that what we live?
Но не продумываем, а проживаем на самом деле.
But not thinking about it, but experience it, really experience and living it.
И это нас возвращает к яме-не-яме, опять же.
And it brings us back to yama-niyama.
Fundament.
The base.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Andreji mentioned about how various yamas and niyamas can elevate our consciousness, and it will help us to see things relatively differently. Now I think Yuftaheji. Oh, yes. You are loud and clear. So we really wanted to listen. Ethiopia, the question to you is how we see differently. So how can we see differently in a situation of disaster or anything? When I'm really facing it, I'm living it right now. Ukraine from Ukraine, Andreji said, I'm actually living it. When disaster is happening, whatever I created suddenly is getting destroyed. People have become more selfish and situations are out of control. How can I see it differently?
Yes. Atma namaste and namaskar. So I guess one aspect of seeing it is, for me, peace and space are very much interplanetary for me. Why I brought space in the element of peace is, usually if we are in a very crowded space or place, our mind easily overcrowded. And the more we have a spacious environment around us, the more we can feel at ease. But the same way with the life and with the activities we're having in life at the moment, there is a lot to be processed at the mental level, at the emotional level, at the societal and definitely global level. And how we can perceive or see things a little differently is by creating that space, the space between the viewer and the viewed, the objects, the people around us, the situations that we go through. And especially at this very time, I want to extend my appreciation for United Consciousness in terms of bringing peace as a very powerful topic, because the more such reflective environments, be them online or offline, are happening, people will have that space to see, okay, the situation I'm in life, maybe I'm really into it, or I'm in the box of the situation that I'm having in life. But we usually hear about think out of the box, but I sometimes put it as move out of the box so that you can see the box or the situation that we have in life. So peace at one fundamental way for me is how we can create that space, where the space is where we can perceive and see and also really connect different dots. And sometimes when things are too close to us, it's pretty hard for our perception as well as our ability to see the perspective from that point. So I see those connections happening in many ways, also in my personal life journey and also in the practice of yoga. Usually when we do the yoga asanas, when we stretch the body, twist the body, we're basically creating that intercellular space which also creates the body to have its flow through the nadis or through the chakras and all the flows. The same way when we meditate or practice our dhyan, we're creating that mental space so that that space lets us perceive in a better way within us and around us at the same time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You added one more dimension to the discussion, the space, which is so nice. And you talked about the mental space, global space, and the intercellular space also. So nice. So I'm happy with the discussion, the way it is going on. So our sister from Oman, Gayatri ji, this inner peace, if I can cultivate, how can it leads to peaceful community, particularly during time of disaster?
So we all want to have peace in the world. So that world is being represented by each and every individual of us. So in that way, when we are at peace, so that leads to world peace automatically. And also it's been said the wars outside or the wars which are going on in the minds. So in that sense, like when each and individual experience peace, peace means it's not just the silence and no one is there, no sound. It's not that. So mentally there are so many thoughts or disturbances going on because there are many unfulfilled things which is there inside us. So that will be going on in the form of thoughts and leading to peacelessness inside us. So first that needs to be cleared. So when an individual is like complete in the sense fulfilled internally, it's not any objectives and materialistic things and all that. So internal satisfaction is what it is required. So when that emptiness is filled inside, so then automatically an individual will be at peace. So then that will lead to the peace outside also. Because when I am being peaceful, so then I don't get into those controversies and all that, even though that is there, but I keep myself peace and that won't be disturbing my inner peace. So then automatically things becoming complicated, that will be solved because the other person is at peace.
Thank you very much. As you said, that world is the collection of beings, and when beings are at peace, in turn it leads to a global peace also, because we belong to. Shardarji also mentioned in her ABCD formula, B stands for belongingness. Shardaji, when you say belongingness, how does it help us to, as you be in your ABCD? How
Yes.
does it help to create a more thriving society in difficult times?
Yes, belongingness is essential to everyone because if, for example, a person moving to another country, it's very hard, it's very tough to find that space that we have been talking about, for example, because if you feel you belong to community, one can be first you belong to your family, to your roots, but if you don't get the acceptance in the workplace, then it becomes very difficult. Then all kinds of thoughts will come out and maybe frustrations, slowly leading to so many frustrations that you feel also to do harm to other people. So that belongingness is very crucial because then it also gives us the strength that, okay, we are recognized for who we are. And the moment people feel belongingness, they feel at home. And you know, if you feel at home wherever you are, then it doesn't make any difference whether you do it for yourself or for the others. You will just walk the extra mile to work hard. And you know, in these times, one of the main topics is immigration. People go to several places and immigration gets this kind of stigmatization as all the immigration is bad, but actually immigration brings also new values to existing societies. And what we see these days is that people are in need of care. You know, if you look at the mental anxiety around youngsters, it's huge. If you look at numbers of people feeling belonging to any religious practices, it's less. In the Netherlands, I mean, you can say half or even a bit more is not feeling religious or belonging to any religious institute. So people try to find some other anchor, and if they don't find the anchor, it will get out in different forms of frustration. And one of the ways that we think of violence is always violence in physical sense. But I believe that violence in physical sense starts with also violence in language, violence in thoughts. In the Yoga Sutras, it is all about also, it's not only about that ahimsa is the ultimate violence, but also violence in your thought, in your speech. And what we see around in many leaders, they don't choose the language which unites. And that's one of the basic things that we have to start in education. The language that you are speaking, leaders, we as people in the universities, what are the things that we are
Thank you very much, Shardaji. Shardaji defined belongingness, and she said that when you don't feel at home, it creates inner trouble, inner violence, and then it goes to furthermore also. And we need to be very cautious about, because violence is not only expressed, it is inner also. So we need to be cautious about thoughts, feeling, words, and actions. And as anchoring across the planet is getting lesser, as she is saying, in Netherlands, 50% plus people are not following any religion, but everybody needs some or the other anchor. So, Andreji, you are going through a difficult time as a nation. So, what is your anchor? How did you deal with it? Because it's not that easy. How could you maintain your inner peace in this time? I want to know from you your anchor. What has anchored you that you still are smiling? Nadia is smiling. How could you manage it? And let me tell you, they have a small son also, yes?
Yes.
Very cute. What is his name? Your son's name?
He's watching cartoons and eating some snacks.
Go ahead, please. Go ahead. What is your anchor in these difficult times? How did you anchor yourself?
Как ты заземляешь? Тебе помогает?
Викрант, я знаю истину.
I just know the truth. Yes.
Understand?
The deeply truth. Yes.
Да. И я все прожил не от ума, а Викрант, ты знаешь, кто мой учитель?
Vikant, you know who is my teacher?
И он меня подвел к тому, чтобы я сам прожил истину.
And he helped me to see what truth is, to live, to go through it.
Прожив эту истину, ты уже не можешь видеть мир по-другому.
If you can live this truth, you just can't see the world in another way.
Ты транслируешь истину в мир.
You translate the truth to the world.
Я не могу злиться на мир.
I can't be angry to the world.
Я пытаюсь этому, если я скажу все как есть, люди это начнут придумывать.
If I tell everything how it is, the people will imagine it.
И самая для меня большая задача научить людей проживать истину, показать.
And the most important task for me is to help people to show them how to live the truth, that it can be their own experience.
I will stop you in between. In one line, can you tell what is the truth?
одним предложением.
Этот момент.
This moment.
This moment is the truth. Future you can't control or predict. Past, let bygones be bygones. And such a profound message from our friend from Ukraine. If you want to live prosperously, happily in difficult times, the truth is this moment. Salutations, Andreji. That's amazing. Please go ahead. Complete your sentence.
Вторая часть истины, Викрант. Все едино. Мы часть единого.
And the second part of the truth is that we are part of one.
Но это намного больше, чем эта планета, эта Вселенная.
But it is more bigger than this planet or this universe.
Но то, что я это сказал, то, что я это озвучил.
But that I said that.
А другое дело это прожить.
But the another thing is to live it.
Это полностью разный опыт.
That is another experience.
И тем, что я сказал, я боюсь посеять заблуждение.
And but I don't want to people to take it in the ways that is not meant to be.
Вот слова – это слова. Слова не равны, описание не равно описываемому предмету.
But the words, the description is not comparative to the object that is describing.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Andreji. It's very profound. Now, let's go to our sister Gayatriji. Gayatriji, he said, living in the moment, anityam. We are too temporary to have permanent problems in life. So this is the moment in our hand. Any quick remarks you would like to add to the people who are watching us from different parts of the world? How you mentioned, you last thing you said, unfulfilled desires leads to distress. So would like to know your remarks on how can I be more peaceful within? Any quick tips?
So in that, I can say like quick tips in the sense, it is not any objectives that I have to be like, I have to get that and all these things. In the sense, we will be looking for something called love, peace, respect. And then even we can say that unfulfilled in the form of that being seen in the form of objects outside. So that if I lack love, that unfulfilled things and all, so I search for that love in different forms outside, in the materialistic forms and all that. Or if I'm not peaceful inside, so then I look for that peace outside in different ways. Each one will be looking at that same thing in the different ways externally. But those things are not being found externally because those objects are not giving what I'm looking for. I felt that. So that's why people get into the extremes, even about addictions and all these things also, where they are temporarily finding all that happiness, peace and all these things. So then they find it, but temporary. That's why that addictions and all this gets into. So when I really get into that real inner peace and all that, so then that all will be not at all even necessary, I can say. Even all the ways of entertainments and all these things and all is like that moment. After that, I'm just postponing for that few hours and then again I'm back to that itself. So that way connecting to the self is very much important.
Thank you very much. Gayatriji, you mentioned about importance of connecting to the self. And who is that self? Our Yuftaheji said that seen and seer are different. And there is a space in between. You were very profound when you said it, Yuftaheji. Would you like to teach our audience, and me too, how can I utilize this space between? How can one I see that space, and second, to utilize that space to be more peaceful in life? Over to you.
Yeah, sure. So maybe two basic practices that we usually share in our center. One is what we call, usually when we do these full day immersion programs, in between the sessions, we have this thing called nature breaks. Usually we take tea breaks in conferences, events, and we let people take nature breaks. And one of the fundamental practice of nature break is to choose any natural object other than human beings, which can activate our mind usually, but a plant or a bird or an ant, and then spending, let's say, 30 seconds, if you have the time, maybe 3 minutes, just in pure awareness or in pure presence with that life. And that one lets us connect to life. Usually we have labels to the different visuals that we see in life. This is a tree, this is an ant, this is a bass. But whenever we are present in full awareness, the labels, the thoughts will become less, and then we'll have that connection. The space will be connected with less of the visuals and the objects. Another practice that we usually share is very common in yogic practices and meditation is connecting with the 5 sense doorways. What am I listening to? What am I seeing at the moment? What am I smelling? That's like, for me personally, one of my daily practices, just to take a pause and connect with the senses. Because if I'm trying to listen to a sound, I cannot listen to a sound that was there 3 hours ago. I cannot listen to a sound after 5 days from now. So just the intention of let me listen creates that connection to this very moment, as BK Gayatri beautifully mentioned, and Andre was interestingly sharing it about the truth. So these are like very basic, but at the same way profound. I guess one thing for us human beings is we oversee the simple ones or the basic aspects of life, and we try to get the complicated ones aspects to really be experienced in life. So these are, I guess, 1 or 2 simple experiments and experience that all our beautiful audiences right now can also tune into. And the more we open up our heart and our senses, I guess God, the source, the universe is always accessible.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Yuftaheji. So, dear friends who are watching us from different parts of the planet and who will be watching us in times to come. So, we had our panelist Shardaji said that inner peace comes through oneness and identifying your higher purpose of life. And as a methodology, be aware, belongingness, committed, and know your dharma. Dharma, she said, are twofold. One, duties towards self, and second is duties towards others. Duties towards self is swadharma, and duty towards everything surrounding and everything is called rhythm. She mentioned that when you know your purpose of life, kama, artha, and when you know and you go higher as dharma as your purpose of life, welfare of all, it leads to interconnectedness of the world and help others during the time of crisis, because it is our dharma. It is our dharma to help others and to see cosmic happenings as they are. Acceptance. When things happens, you accept it and then you wisely respond to it. And when you lead a dharmic life, for self you meditate, for others you serve. Because we don't live in isolation. We are a part of continent. Nobody of us is an island. And that's why we need to learn that belongingness to the family, community, and cosmos by and large. We need to feel at home, because when we don't feel at home, then violence takes birth. And when people become violent, they are not aware. It's not only when I act violently, even I think, I speak violently, it creates problems. And everybody needs an anchor. She said that lots of people in Europe is losing religion as anchor, but everybody needs an anchor. And with that, Andreji added that nobody is prepared for any disaster. It happens. And prarabdha are never in your choice, in your options. But purushartha, how do you respond to those actions, those situations, is certainly is a choice. And if you have problem already within you, and there will be problem outside also, then it will be a bigger disaster. So know thyself is something that is needed to be peaceful within self. And once you know yourself, then you see things differently. He said that see things differently means seeing the absolute reality, see things more objectively. And that he's used the word satyam. See the satyam behind what is the truth of everything. He said that practice yamas and niyamas, ahimsa, Purity of thought, that is Shocha, Ishwar Pranidhana, surrender to the divine will, which Shardaji also said that acceptance is important. And then because Enriji is living, Nadia is living, he said yoga helps you to connect with the self and with others also. And he said, what I'm saying is not saying, I'm living it. I'm living it, and the anchor for my life is the ultimate truth. And what is the ultimate reality or truth? He said, be in the moment is one thing. And that's what Buddhism also says, Anityam. This moment is in our hand, nothing else. And second part of the truth, he said, we are the part of that one. Aham Brahmasmi. We are eternal. We are too temporary to have limited identities. We have limited problems in our life. And he also said that live that life and show it to others, people will follow. Gayatri ji said, yes, it is very important when disaster comes, see things differently. That will help you to be stable, peaceful, and having calm state of mind, because without that, you can't be able to take right decision. Whenever disaster comes, there are two types of people. Some people always they do cribbing on the situation, they crib on the situation, why it happened to me always. But some people with their calm of mind, they ask themselves, what is to be done in this moment? This is what is seeing things differently. And she said, peace doesn't mean silence only. Peace is something bigger than even silence. And she says that when there are lots of unfulfilled desires related to love, respect, and then the peace gets disturbed. So remember this, that no temporary thing can provide you permanent peace. And that's why I connect to what is eternal. And with that discussion, Yuftaheji said that when we talk about eternal peace and space are mutually connected. When there is a lot of crowd, there will be less peace. So we need to create some space within ourselves, space between seer and seen. Whenever a situation comes, disaster comes, detach yourself from it and see it objectively. As Enriji also said, see it objectively. Go out of the box, he said. And even then development comes. He took example of intercellular space also. For that, he suggested two techniques, Vedic approach. One is go in the nature, take nature breaks. Observe with different life forms and help you to connect and develop, realize your dharma towards every being on the planet. And second is connect with the five senses that will help you to be in the moment and remove all the worries, whatever of past and future, and open your heart to the world. So let's, friend, open our heart to the world. In these types of disaster, let's invoke the divine within us so that we can create a better world for generations to come. Thank you very much, Shardaji. Thank you very much, Gayatri-ji, Andre-ji, Nadia, and my dear friend Luftahe. I'm looking forward to meet you again. Let me invite all of you to Ujjain. Ujjain is the very ancient city in India. On 14th, 15th, and 16th of September 2025, we are organizing a global event in Ujjain. All of you are welcome. I repeat, on 14th, 15th, and 16th of 16th of February 2025, we are organizing a 3 days global event. People from more than 20 nationalities are coming from all 6 continents. And the theme of that global event is exactly the same theme: establishing culture of peace through united consciousness. So this is an online event. Ujjain will be a physical event. All of you are most welcome. Please connect to my office and let me know if your calendar permits and if you want to come, if you can plan to come. Most welcome. If I can request the admin to just play that video of the event, which is about to come in Ujjain. Thank you very much, Shardaji. Thank you, Gayatri-ji.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Yuftaheji, thank you.
Thank you for having this.
I'm delighted to welcome Ms. Marceline Makuku from Cameroon. She's a certified yoga coach. As a certified yoga coach, one of her missions is to increase well-being at workplace and thus improve employees' performance and business productivity. At the same time, raising awareness about women's health and mental health is an equally important mission on which she is actively working. Her key skills include ability to communicate effectively, assessment of customers' requirement and potential, and yoga teaching and practice. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome Marceline Makuku.
I am pleasured to welcome and introduce Ms. Nyakainiwa Chege from Kenya.
Nyakainiwa is a dedicated counselor and certified yoga teacher with a passion for helping others achieve self-realization and growth. Trained by the Africa Yoga Project in 2014, she discovered yoga during a challenging period of emotional dysregulation, and it became a vital tool for her healing journey. Nyakainiwa believes deeply in the power of yoga to tap into and strengthen one's inner resources, leading to a more fulfilled life. She has further enriched her practice with additional training in breath, body, mind, and Qigong, and has co-facilitated a trauma-informed mind-body well-being program. Nyakainiwa has taught yoga in Kenya and Rwanda, where she combines the principles of yoga with psychology to offer a holistic approach to wellness. A graduate in Industrial and Organizational Psychology from McRae University and holding a higher diploma in psychology counseling, Nyakainiwa also enjoys reading, traveling, caring for animals, and exploring new recipes in her free time.
Most welcome, Nyakainiwa. We are so happy to have you here. Delighted and welcome to United Consciousness family. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vikrant, for having me. So today we'll be having together, practicing meditation together. And given the conversations we're having earlier, I thought let's talk about possibility and bringing change. And so that's the meditation we'll be practicing together today. So wherever you're watching us from or participating in this from, I invite you to find a comfortable position. You can be seated or lying down, and just make sure that you feel comfortable where you are. Once you get settled, bring your awareness to your shoulders. Maybe just roll your shoulders up and back if you're seated, and lengthen your spine. Now take a moment and notice that your feet are grounded. You can notice or feel the floor beneath your feet. If you're lying down, just become aware of the soles of your feet. Now notice your breath. Notice as your breath is coming in and out through your nose. Notice, bring your awareness, attention to your heartbeat. It might be slow, it might be fast, it might even be very faint. So much so that you don't notice it. That's okay. Take a deep breath in through your nose, and through your mouth, let it go. 2 more times. Take a deep breath in through your nose and let it out through your mouth. Deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Now allow your breath to come back to its normal rhythm and breathe in and out through your nose. Allow yourself to soften the muscles in your body. Maybe soften your neck, soften your eyes. You're welcome to close your eyes or lower your gaze. We'll do a quick body scan before we go into, before I guide you into the meditation. So just become aware and soften the muscles around your eyes. Soften the muscles around your cheekbones. Become aware of and soften the muscles around your face, your cheeks, your lips, your chin, all the way to your neck. Soften the muscles around your shoulders. Soften the muscles around your arms, from your shoulders to your fingers. Soften the muscles around your chest and belly. And soften the muscles around your back, starting from the base of your neck all the way to your lower back. Soften. Soften the muscles around your hips and your upper legs. And soften the muscles around your knees and your lower legs all the way to your feet. Soften. Now notice your entire body as a complete entity, starting from the crown of your head to your feet. Notice if there's any tension anywhere in any part of your body, and give yourself the permission to let go, to release. Now notice any thoughts and feelings that may be present in your mind and around your heart, any thought and feeling that you may be present to. Now imagine that you are the sky. The sky is always there. So imagine you're like the sky and you're always there. And that clouds are floating by coming and going. Consider that your thoughts and feelings are like clouds in the sky. They come and they go. And your work is to simply notice them and allow them. To notice your thoughts and feelings and to allow your thoughts and feelings to pass through you. So I invite you right now to simply notice the thoughts and feelings that are passing through you as if they were floating like clouds in the sky. And because we're human, if at any point you notice your thoughts take over, just use your breath as the thing or tool that helps you stay aware of the present moment. Use your breath to remind you to stay in observation of your thoughts and feelings coming and going. Now, consider what you might do if anything was possible for you. If you had no limitations and anything was possible, what would you do with your life, with yourself, for your community? Imagine what it might feel for your possibility to become true or to become a reality. What would that feel like for you? If your possibility was to become a reality, where would you be? Where would you be when your reality, your possibility is your reality? What would you be doing? What do you see around you in this reality? And what are you doing? Who is there with you? Check in with all of your senses, the sights, what do you see around you? The smells, what can you smell around you in your reality where everything is possible? The sounds, and also your feeling. What are you noticing here in your possibility? Allow yourself to experience your possibility as a felt sense, as if you're already living in that possibility. Remember that you and your dreams for yourself, your dream for your community, your dream for the world, for the universe, are worth the effort. Now, just bring yourself back into the present by taking just a few breaths. Breathing in, 2, 3, and breathe out, 2, 3. When you're ready, slowly open your eyes and allow yourself to become present to what is around you, your current situation. And thank you so much for your time.
Nya ji, it is your first appearance with United Consciousness, and I want to tell you that we all are so much happy to have you in our family. Thank you very much for bringing out yet another dimension of meditation, because having a peaceful mind is the need of the hour today across the planet. United Consciousness would keep on inviting you on various forums. Thank you for honoring us, and we hope that you also had a good experience with us today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vikrant. It's my pleasure, and thank you for having me. Thank you for organizing this. I think the world really needs it, and I look forward to working together more.
And as I said to the last panel, if your calendar permits, come to our global event, which is on 14th, 15th, and 16th of February 2025. We'll be very happy to have you here.
All right. Thank you.
If you need more information, you can connect my office. You're most welcome.
Okay. Thank you. Namaste.
I thank Ms. Nia Kainua for coming onto the platform of United Consciousness. Thank you so much.
I'm feeling grateful to welcome our next guest, who is spraying love in all directions and awakening people for realizing the true meaning of inner peace. She is Ms. Amy Bless You, Mahamandaleshwar Pandit Yoga Charani Swami Gayatri Devi. She's a Yoga Paripurna School Master and UPF Ambassador for Peace recognized by UN, received honorary doctorate by Techno India University, and elected as advisor of this university. In 2010, she received the F. Gandhi Simplicity Award at the Mahatma Gandhi Memorial in New Delhi, India. Amy Bless You is patron of the Women International Network Award for Peace and Non-Violence and member forever of the World Peace Development and Research Foundation India. In Italy, she is member of Seta Mondo Association Board of Directors, Milan Department of Culture, and contact person for the Rights and Equal Opportunity section. She is founder and spiritual guide in Milan of Suryanagra Ashram, president of the World Community of IC and TD of CUIDP, official Italian Confederation of Yoga, and the International Yoga Confederation of Delhi. Co-founder and ambassador of the World Movement of Yoga and Ayurveda. During the last 20 years, she has published her experiences in 12 books. So please welcome Ms. Amy Bless You.
Namaste, respected Amy ji. So nice to have you again, and we feel blessed whenever you come and share your thoughts. So, whole stage is yours for the topic, the power of meditation in yoga, achieving peaceful mindfulness and spiritual insight. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste, Pranam. I have been asked to talk about power of meditation in yoga to achieve peaceful awareness and spiritual intuition. I mean, everyone knows that to achieve calm, balance, the well-being, psycho, physical, emotional, the human being must know his own mind. Being must very well, to be able to go on beyond the mind and transcend it. The practice take place on the path that we all know by now, and that is reported with excellence in the Patanjali Yoga Sutra. A yoga that investigates human nature to know oneself and acquire the ability to use the physical pranic body and the mind instrument. What more fascinating journey can exist than the one that allows you to test the instrument mind and its secret that have always interested every human being? We use at such as meditation, means such as meditation, dhyana, to go beyond the mind, reach the deepest level of find its essence through breathing and the well-known steps such as yogasana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, etc. To evolve, you must become aware of the tool mind, how it is used, and how it is transcended. There are specific and complex techniques for everything. But let's start from the principle, from the base, with simplicity and effectiveness, which is the best way for a growth path. There is an Italian saying that goes like this: small steps, big results. The path is very attractive, splendid, exciting. You get to know, explore your own possibility, your interior, for revealing its secret nature, overcoming and experimenting with the various most well-known level, most known. For the first level, the energetic, the second, the emotional, and the third, the void of silence. You will have to transcend the material mind to reach total silence, that particular silence of the void that is full. Or initially, get to eliminate at least the distraction of the mind. There are various levels that gradually lead to knowing ourselves with our doubts and conviction of certitudes. Sometimes it happens that the investigation of the subtle levels is so fascinating that we feel our physical part only as an instrument, the means to experience those levels of consciousness, high level. So we make us reach from that elevated state of consciousness and awareness, which goes beyond meditation and reaches high state of contemplation, or still better, of abstraction. I mean, that goes to know what is beyond the mind, because often the mind lies. And it is the reason that research cannot stop at the knowledge of the physical mind alone, but open up to the spiritual intuition too, that goes beyond the mind. The purification of the mind is one of the important steps to reach abstraction. That is the purification from distraction and residual impressions, the samskara. I mean, distraction from the principle, which is the one that has no second. This happens through the regular practice of meditative, contemplative, yoga, and the inner discipline. Thus one can reach the abstraction that leads to completeness. And it is a gradual process that evolves through dharana, the concentration, dhyana, the deep meditation, and finally to the last union, samadhi. There is more steps again of samadhi, and finally we have to active that, to active too. This path requires dedication, discipline, and an openness spiritual experience. The awareness obtained through intuition and contemplation prepare the ground to enter this elevated state of consciousness where there is the individual can experience fullness and the union with the absolute, and find itself in front of the Dharma Mega Samadhi. That the characteristics are: 1. Overcoming dualities; 2. Suspension of karmic laws; 3. Absence of avidya; 4. Purification of mind; 5. Supreme knowledge. There are various levels of consciousness before arriving at the Dharma Mega Samadhi, which arise when all desire have been lost, even the desire for enlightenment and effort to reach the knowledge of the self. There is a leaving of desire and the effort to search inside and outside. The fourth and yearning to want to achieve physical or mental personal improvement is no longer necessary. Indeed, the gift is revealed when every effort has subsided, cancelled. And there is only the emptiness that is full. It remains. It is a high gift that brings quiet, peace, serenity, perfect bliss in the yogi. Let us remember that Dharma Mega Samadhi is not achieved by effort, but comes when all effort has subsided. Asatoma sagamaya, tamasoma chutirgamaya, mrihitorma mritangamaya, loka samasta sukhino bhavantu, sarve jnana sukhino bhavantu. Om Trayambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvarukamiva bandhana mrityormukshiyamamritate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Hari Om Tat Sat.
Thank you very much, respected MEG. I think nobody else, in my opinion, could have justified more with the topic. I remember during our discussions in Global Board of Yoga Accreditation, you were of the firm believer that Samadhi can never be taught. It happens. So, yes, it happens. I remember that always. And in meditation, when majority of the people understand it, that it is calming the mind, you said that it is going beyond the mind.
Beyond.
Yes, it is so profound, because common understanding of meditation is it is making mind peaceful. But you said it is going the mind and seeing what is beyond the mind.
Yes.
And you also said that often lots of sanskaras, deep impressions are there in mind, which are there with our collective experiences. And the word you use for samadhi, I absolutely loved. You said the last union. So it is so nice that you said samadhi is the last union, and you defined levels of samadhi also when you said dharmega samadhi, where all desires are lost in the knowledge of self. I think not only you have lot of experience in yogic field, not only you have lived it, you choose the right words to present it also. That keeps your talk very authentic. I'm sure not only me, many of the audience will like to listen it again and again for their conceptual clarity. Thank you very much, Amita.
Need time.
Actually, I agree. So you completed 5 minutes before the time allotted to you. You had relatively more time, but you completed beforehand.
Yes.
Thank you for always blessing and loving us, MEG. You have been a guide and lighthouse for United Consciousness since the beginning. When we planned our first of the events, still you guided us and still you are guiding us. Whenever we are stuck anywhere, we know whom to go to. So kind of you, MEG.
On behalf of United Consciousness, I thank Ms. Emmy Blessio for sharing her views. Thank you so much, ma'am.
सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्।
This shloka means, may everyone be happy, may everyone be free from all diseases, may everyone see goodness and auspiciousness in everything, may none be unhappy or distressed. Om Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi. I am highly privileged to have this opportunity to present my gratitude to all those who have witnessed and blessed this event directly or indirectly. I believe that this is not the end, but the beginning of our journeys. The journeys towards the noble cause of removing the 14 divides rooted in human race and promoting harmonious and peaceful coexistence. Firstly, I thank the God for blessing us all. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Rajesh Rabindranath of Project Self USA, Yogi Baba Adnan and Madam Kubuk of Siddha Ashram Yoga Center, Mr. Andre Reel of Nidra Yoga, Swami Suryananda Saraswati of European Yoga Federation, Mr. Sukhdev Volker-Bretz of Yoga Vidya, Mr. Vladimir Parado of Yoga Yogeshmo, Ms. Patricia Begley of AAYT, Ms. Emmy Blessio of CUIDY, Ms. Valentina Cortene of African Spiritual Council, Mr. Andre Lebanau of Yoga Lam, Mr. Josh Pryor of Yoga Australia, and Mr. Jose Druge of the for your invaluable contribution and support. I am also very thankful to Dr. Vikrant Singh Tomar of United Consciousness for hosting such a beautiful program. I also thank Team United Consciousness for their valuable contributions to such a beautiful program.